You've felt it your whole life, haven't you? That disconnect. That quiet distance between you and the rest of the world. The feeling that you don't quite belong. That you see things differently. Think differently. Move differently. Maybe they called you difficult. Maybe they called you rebellious. Maybe they made you believe there was something wrong with you. But let me tell you something. There is nothing wrong with you. In fact, this might be your greatest advantage. Because what if the reason you feel like an outsider is because you never bought the lie? The lie that tells you to fall in line, stay quiet, accept mediocrity. The lie that tells you to be grateful for just surviving. The lie that tells you that struggle is bad, suffering is unfair, and success is for other people. Most people swallow this lie without question. They spend their lives chasing the same scripted dream. School, job, house, retirement. Never once stopping to ask, is this all there is? But you questioned it, you rejected it, and that rejection made you an outcast. Good. Because the people who change the world, the people who build empires, the people who dominate life itself, they were never the ones who fit in. They were the ones who stood apart. The ones who refused to accept the limits the world tried to place on them. The ones who saw the truth, that the path of the masses is the path of the weak. So if you feel like an outcast, know this: you are exactly where you are supposed to be. This is not a disadvantage. This is not a curse. This is your edge. Because the second you embrace what makes you different, the second you stop chasing their approval, the second you realize that your separation from the pack is your greatest weapon, you become unstoppable. And that's why you're here. Not to be comforted, not to be told that life will suddenly get easier, but to learn how to use this fire inside you, this refusal to conform, to become stronger, sharper, and more relentless than you ever imagined. What comes next is not for the weak. What comes next is for those who are ready to break free from the illusion and dominate reality itself. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Stage 1. The fire of hardship. What if I told you that every struggle, every hardship, every moment of suffering wasn't a punishment, but a test? Most people are blind. They see difficulty and turn away. They run from the very thing that would have made them unstoppable. But you have a choice right now, to either join the weak who retreat, or to step into the fire and let it forge you into something unbreakable. Every obstacle in your life is a challenge from something greater than yourself. Call it God, the universe, or fate. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it is asking you one simple question. Do you deserve the life you dream of? And how you answer isn't with words, it's with action. Most people beg for an easier life. They pray for fewer problems. They ask for comfort, security, a way out. Cowards. They don't realize that everything they desire is hidden behind the very pain they avoid. You don't want an easy path, because an easy path leads to nothing. The pyramids weren't built because they were simple. The great explorers didn't cross oceans because it was safe. The most legendary men in history didn't wake up and ask for peace. They hunted down the hardest challenges they could find. And that is what separates the elite from the average. So what about you? When you wake up and stare at your problems, what do you see? Do you see excuses? Or do you see the proving ground of your potential? Do you shrink back? Or do you step forward and say, finally, it's my turn to suffer, to rise, and to conquer? Every hardship is a blessing in disguise. Every struggle is an opportunity to prove you belong at the top. Now, here's your action. Identify the biggest challenge in your life right now. Stop avoiding it. Stop complaining. Stop wishing it wasn't there. Embrace it. Attack it like a man possessed. Welcome it as a gift from the universe. Because in the end, The hardships you conquer today will define the strength you wield tomorrow. The question remains, will you rise or will you fall? The answer isn't spoken, it's proven. Now go, prove yourself. Stage 2, the warrior's mindset. Most men don't realize it, but they are already at war. A war against their own weakness, a war against the softness of modern life, a war against the lie that one day things will just get easier. Let me tell you the truth. It never gets easier. You just get stronger. Life is not a vacation. It's a series of battles, stretching from the moment you open your eyes in the morning until the day you take your last breath. And every day, you are faced with a choice. Will you stand and fight, or will you cower and fold? You think if you just make a little more money, your problems will disappear. If you just fix one relationship, everything will be fine. If you just reach one goal, you can finally rest. Lies. Because as soon as one battle ends, another one begins. And if you're not preparing for the next fight, you've already lost. Look around you. The weak are drowning. They're suffocating under the weight of problems they were too soft to face. They wanted comfort, not conquest. And now, they are trapped in a life of mediocrity. But you were not born for an easy life. You were built for struggle, designed for domination. Your ancestors did not fight, bleed, and claw their way through hell, just so you could sit back and complain that life is hard. You should be grateful for the fight. Every hardship you face is a privilege. It means you are still in the game. It means you still have a chance to prove that you belong among the greats. If today is hard, good. It means tomorrow, you will be stronger. If today feels impossible, perfect. It means you are about to grow into someone you never imagined. And if you are surrounded by problems, then congratulations, because that means you have been chosen for a greater destiny. Your action. The next time you feel overwhelmed, stop and remind yourself, this is my battlefield. This is my test, and I will pass it. Instead of asking for relief, ask for the strength to endure. Instead of avoiding the challenge, charge headfirst into it. Because problems are not curses. They are invitations to become unstoppable. And the only ones who deserve to move forward are the ones who never back down. Now go. Face the war ahead. Stage 3. The gift of struggle. What happens to an animal when you put it in a cage? It doesn't starve. It doesn't freeze. It doesn't have to fight, chase, or kill to survive. Food is handed to it. Shelter is guaranteed. It never has to run from predators or compete for a mate. And yet, it dies inside. Slowly, silently, its fire fades. The muscles it once used to hunt grow weak. The instincts that once kept it sharp dull into nothing. The cage kills what no enemy ever could. Its purpose. And that is exactly what's happening to weak men today. They live safe, predictable lives. They have a job, a place to sleep, food in the fridge. No real struggle, no real suffering, no real reason to fight. And so, they wither away. But not you. You feel it, don't you? The hunger for something more. The deep, unshakable feeling that your life is supposed to be harder, sharper, more meaningful. You weren't meant to be tamed. You were meant to hunt. Every day, people beg for an easy life. They want comfort, security, predictability. They want everything handed to them. But you should pray for struggle, because struggle is a gift. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity, the greater the challenge, the greater the reward, and the more brutal the battle, the more ferocious the warrior who survives it. Look at your life right now. Where are you playing it safe? Where are you avoiding the hunt? Where have you let yourself become soft? Because let me make this clear, you don't want a life without problems. You want problems worthy of the man you are becoming. Your action. Stop wishing for things to be easier. Wish to be stronger. Find one thing you've been avoiding. One problem. One challenge. One obstacle. And attack it head-on today. This is your chance to prove you belong at the top. Because in the end, it's not the easy life that makes you powerful. It's the fight, the pain, the struggle. So step out of the cage and hunt. Stage 4, the work ethic of the relentless. Look around you. Most people are weak. They talk about dreams, but they refuse to suffer for them. They make excuses instead of sacrifices. They say they want success, but the moment it gets hard, they break. But you were built for something different. The world isn't kind. It doesn't care how bad you want it. It doesn't care how tired you are, how unlucky you've been, or how many times you've tried before. The only thing that matters is whether you are willing to outwork everyone else. That's the truth most people will never accept. They think life is about talent, about luck, about waiting for the right moment. But you know better. You know that the man who works the hardest always wins. You know that when it comes down to the wire, grit beats talent. Effort crushes excuses. Discipline conquers doubt. Most people won't go all the way. They stop when it gets inconvenient. They rest when they should be grinding. They fear the suffering that greatness requires. But you should crave it. Every time you push through exhaustion, every time you grind when others quit, every time you choose pain over comfort, you are stepping further and further away from the average. Do you understand what that means? The moment you commit to working harder than everyone else, you become unstoppable. Because most people won't even compete. They'll look at the mountain and walk away. They'll see the challenge and give up before they even begin. But you are different. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. Your action. Outwork your competition today. Find one area where you can push harder, suffer longer, and give more than anyone else. And do it. No shortcuts. No excuses. No mercy. Because in the end, success belongs to the relentless. And the weak, they were never meant to survive. Stage 5. The fair shot is your only chance. There are no handouts, no shortcuts, no guarantees. The world doesn't owe you a damn thing. And that's a good thing. Because if you're strong enough, if you're ruthless enough, if you're willing to bleed for what you want, then that means nothing can stop you. Most men sit around waiting for life to be fair. They cry about disadvantages. They blame the system, their past, their circumstances. They want the game to be rigged in their favor. But you don't need that. All you need is a fair shot, an even playing field where only the strong survive. You don't want a rigged game. You don't want a handout. You don't want someone to give you a free pass. Because you are the kind of man who will win anyway. The only question is, are you ready? Because fair doesn't mean easy. Fair means brutal. It means the lazy, the weak, the unprepared will be crushed. It means there's nowhere to hide. No excuses left to make. Fair means that if you fail, it's because you weren't good enough. Most men can't handle that truth. But you should crave it. You should wake up every morning looking for the next fight, the next test, the next battle. Because in a fair game, the only thing that matters is who wants it more. Your action. Look at your life, right now. Where have you been waiting for a break instead of creating one? Where have you been hesitating instead of attacking? Today, you stop waiting. Today, you stop begging. Because the battlefield is fair. Now prove you deserve to win. Stage 6. The burden of success. Everyone wants success, but almost no one deserves it. They talk about their goals. They dream about a better life. They say they're willing to do whatever it takes, until it's time to sacrifice, until it's time to suffer, until it's time to pay the price. And then, they fold. Because success is not a reward, it's a burden. You don't just get to have it. You have to carry it. You have to wake up every single day and fight for it. You have to bleed for it. You have to hold it in your hands and know that if you let go for even a second, someone stronger, hungrier, more ruthless will take it from you. Most men will never understand this. They think once they reach a certain level, once they get the money, the power, the respect, that they can finally relax. But success isn't the end. It's just the beginning of the war. Because the moment you stop fighting for it is the moment you start losing it. Look at the world. Look at history. Empires fall. Kingdoms crumble. Fortunes vanish. Why? Because the men who built them got soft. They forgot that the game never ends. They thought they could take a break. They let their guard down. And the second they did, they lost everything. Do you want to know why so many men suffer in silence? Why they feel empty even when they have everything they ever wanted? Because they thought success would bring them peace. It won't. It'll bring more battles, more problems, more responsibility. And you should be grateful for that. Because the moment your problems disappear, so does your purpose. The moment life stops testing you, you stop growing. The moment you think you've made it, you've already started to fall. Your action. Ask yourself, are you the kind of man who can carry success? Or are you the kind of man who will collapse under its weight? Because the fight never stops. And if you don't earn the right to hold on to what's yours, you will lose it. Now go. Prove that you can carry the burden. Stage 7. The hunger that never dies. Most men will never taste victory. Not because they're incapable, not because they're cursed, but because they stop chasing it. They hit a goal and slow down. They reach a milestone and think they've made it. They get comfortable, they get complacent, and then they start losing. Because the second you stop being hungry, the second you stop moving forward, the second you stop fighting, you start dying. Look at history. The most powerful warriors, the richest kings, the most dominant leaders. They all fall when they lose their hunger. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how strong you are, how respected you've become. If you stop pushing, if you stop demanding more from yourself, you will fade into nothing. That's the brutal truth. And that's why you must stay starving. Because no matter how much you achieve, there's always another level. No matter how hard you work, there's always more you can do. No matter how great you become, there's always another man who will take it from you if you let him. Success isn't a destination. It's a chase that never ends. And that's exactly how it should be. Because the moment you wake up and think, I have enough, is the moment you start losing everything. Your action. Find one area in your life where you've become comfortable and destroy it. Push harder. Demand more. Set a goal so big that it forces you to wake up every day with a fire inside you. Because the moment you stop hunting, you become the prey. And you were born to hunt. Stage 8. The power of your network. A lone wolf dies in the wild. You've heard the lie that you don't need anyone, that you can do it all alone, that success is just about grinding in silence, shutting the world out, and clawing your way to the top with sheer force of will. But that's not how the world works. Powerful men do not rise alone. Look at the kings, the emperors, the billionaires. Every single one of them understood one thing. Your network is your empire. If you want to dominate in life, You need powerful allies. You need to be in the room with winners, killers, men who demand the best from themselves and those around them. Because weak men drag each other down, but strong men pull each other up. Here's the truth: most will never accept. The more valuable you become, the more valuable your network becomes. And once you are inside the right circles, once you have access to men who think like you, move like you, and refuse to be weak, your rise becomes inevitable. Most men will never understand this. They spend their lives surrounded by mediocrity. Their friends are lazy. Their circle is weak. Their environment is built for failure. And then they wonder why they never win. You are the sum of the men around you. If they are weak, you will be weak. If they are average, you will be average. If they are killers, you will become one too. Your action. Take a hard look at the people around you. Are they helping you rise, or are they dragging you down? If they are weak, cut them off. If they make excuses, leave them behind. Then go find winners. Because in the end, your success will not be defined by what you know, but by who you stand beside. Stage 9. The unbreakable force of self-improvement. Most men fear change. They cling to their old habits, their old comforts, their old ways of thinking. They tell themselves they're fine the way they are. But deep down, they know the truth. They are falling behind. Because life is a brutal competition. You either evolve or you get left behind. There is no standing still. There is no good enough. There is no pause button on success. The man who refuses to grow rots. The man who stops improving becomes prey. And you were born to be more. You were not put on this earth to live as a weaker version of yourself. You were not meant to wake up every day as the same man you were yesterday. Because every second, you remain stagnant. Someone else is grinding. Someone else is getting stronger. Someone else is preparing to take everything you should have had. And if you let that happen, you deserve to lose. The world does not reward comfort. It does not reward hesitation. It does not reward men who are too soft to demand more from themselves. It rewards the relentless, the ones who wake up and push harder, the ones who demand progress from themselves, the ones who refuse to accept mediocrity. And that is why self-improvement is not a choice. It is a necessity. Your action. Choose one weakness in yourself, one thing you know is holding you back, and attack it mercilessly. Train harder, learn faster, demand more from yourself. Break the man you were yesterday and rebuild him into something stronger. Because if you are not improving, you are dying, and only the relentless will survive. Stage 10. The fire that never goes out. Most men think once they start winning, the fight is over. They believe success is a finish line, that once they have the money, the respect, the power, they can finally relax. But that's why most men lose everything. Because success isn't a trophy you win and keep forever. It's a fire. And if you stop feeding it, if you stop fighting for it, if you let it burn out even for a second, it's gone. This is why the rich get richer and the weak fade into nothing. The ones who make it to the top and stay there are the ones who never stop chasing. They don't settle. They don't take days off. They don't stop grinding just because they've won a few battles. Because they know the second they slow down, the second they get comfortable, someone else is coming for their throne. And that should terrify you. You think your problems will disappear once you win? No. They will multiply. They will get bigger, sharper, more dangerous. And you will be tested again and again to see if you can hold the ground you fought for. But here's the truth. The struggle never ends. And you should be grateful for that. Because the moment your problems disappear, so does your purpose. The moment life stops challenging you, you stop growing. And the moment you think you've made it, you've already started to fall. Your action. Find one area of your life where you've let yourself slow down and light the fire again. Push harder. Demand more. Break through the limits you thought you had. Never let yourself become one of the men who fades, because real winners never stop hunting. And the fire? It only dies if you let it. If you've made it this far, you already know. You're not like the rest. You're not here for comfort. You're not here for empty motivation. You're here because something inside you refuses to settle, refuses to conform, refuses to live a life of quiet submission. And that's why GrimFace exists. For those who see the world for what it is, and still choose to dominate it. For those of you who have been here before, you already know what this is. Welcome back. You are the backbone of this movement, and your hunger is what fuels everything we build. For those of you who are new, this is just the beginning. GrimFace isn't just a channel, it's a community. A growing force of people who refuse to be ordinary. People who are ready to carve their own path, on their own terms. And there is much more coming. We've just launched GrimFaceOfficial.com, where you can go beyond YouTube and stay connected to everything that's unfolding. There's an email list you can join, so that no matter what happens, you stay in the loop, locked in with us, as this movement evolves. Because this isn't just about watching videos. It's about building something unstoppable. If this message speaks to you, if you feel it in your bones, if you're ready to step into something bigger, subscribe, not just to a channel, but to a way of life. The journey is only beginning, and we're just getting started.